captured.
What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. Welcome to Destiny Week in Review. We had a huge week this week. There's so much to talk about. We had Iron Banner. I did a bunch of raiding. I got a bunch of really awesome gear that I can't wait to show you guys toward the end of the video. I want to talk about this gameplay real quick. I needed to get Lord Saladin's rep up to 4 so I could buy Aphrodite's Spear, that new sniper rifle that he has for sale. I really wanted that sniper rifle. So I put in a lot of time in the Iron Banner. Again, I've done that for all 3 Iron Banners so far, and you know, I really enjoy the PvP aspect of Destiny, so it doesn't bother me. I was a bit disappointed with the gear he was selling this time, but let me talk about the gameplay real quick, because you're going to see me hiding in this corner like a bitch for a lot of this gameplay. I think this gameplay I went like 25-1 because I played so conservatively. There's a reason for this, is I really wanted to win this game. I had been on a losing streak, a 3-game losing streak, and I was really close to that Iron Banner 4 rank. That I needed to get that sniper rifle. So I was really invested in winning this match. So I was willing to use any tactic to win. So I hit in the back with a sniper rifle. I'm not proud of my actions. I am not. But we won. And I almost got it up to Iron Banner 4 in this match. You're going to see I was just a sliver away. So that being said, this is the gameplay that we're watching for the beginning of the video. But the end of the video, I'll show you guys some of that new gear I got. Iron Banner 3.0. So in Iron Banner 2.0, they had a really strong reward for competing. You could get up to level 30 gear from the Iron Banner 2.0. This time around, though, you could only get up to level 31 gear, which is below the level cap. So the only way to get level 32 gear is by going into Crota's End Raid. I was a little confused by this, I'll be honest with you. I would have liked to see level 32 gear come out of the Iron Banner, especially considering that it's so easy to get 32 gear out of the raid. I mean, you can solo the first chest. It takes, you know, 5 to 10 minutes to solo the first chest in Crota's End. So, like, putting that behind Crota's End and making that the only way to get up to 32, I think that's a little unfortunate. I would have liked to see the Iron Banner offer level 32 gear, because not only does it give you a chance to change up how your character looks, but still be as powerful as you want to be, but also gives you more options about, you know, maybe I want to max out intellect, or I want to be really good with hand cannons and not auto rifles, or something like that. So you can really customize your character the way you want them, and I like that. So maybe with the Iron Banner 4, we'll see level 32 gear. But you know, there wasn't that much pull to get level 31 gear out of the Iron Banner when it's so easy to go to a vendor, a Vanguard vendor, and get it that way. It's much, much faster to earn those points that way than it is through the Crucible in the Iron Banner. So as far as the Iron Banner's usefulness goes, it felt a lot less useful than Iron Banner 2.0. As far as the fun goes, it was still a lot of fun. I mean, I really like what they did with this, with the coins. You know, if you lose, you get a coin that's worth a little less experience than if you win, but you actually have to win to redeem that coin. I think that was a genius move on Bungie's part for Iron Banner 2.0, and what it creates are these really tense games that go right till the end. You know, you are competing all the way until the end of the match, because nobody wants that coin. Everybody wants the full amount of rep, but you know, I'll take the coin as opposed to just quitting and wasting the last 6 or 7 minutes of my life. So I think that's awesome. I think it really makes for some tense Iron Banner matches. I actually prefer it to normal Crucible at this point, because I like how bringing in gear really matters. You know, leveling up gear really matters. I think that's a lot of fun. So I kind of like how it just comes around once in a while, so it makes it feel special, but I do really actually prefer it to the Crucible. I am really looking forward to seeing Trials of Osiris too. And I don't know if we've got to wait for the second expansion for that to hit, or if Bungie's just kind of holding out. Maybe they'll do it after Christmas, once they get a new influx of players for Christmas. And speaking of special events, whatever happened to the Queen's events? You know, the earn and rep for the Queen. We saw that once very, very early on, and we've never seen it again, and I thought it was fun. You know, it works similar to the way Eris works now, where you basically do bounties for the queen, and you could earn rep through her you know, representative, and, you know, get special queen items. And I thought that was really cool stuff, so I'm hoping that makes a return in the near future, because I'd really like to see it. So that's pretty much it for Iron Banner. I also did a lot of raiding this week. I finally got my Vex Mythoclast. So I was running the raid on hard. I ran it twice, like every week, and it just never dropped. That and Hardlight both never dropped. Not Hardlight, the legendary hand cannon that you get from Vault of Glass. Just Fatebringer. Neither one of them ever dropped for me. And I've run that hard mode raid now. I don't know. I'm sure the stat is out there. It feels like 10 to 15 times. And it could be more than that. And, you know, Vex just never dropped. And I really wanted it. You know, of course, it's one of the most anticipated weapons of the game. It's one of the most eagerly wanted weapons in the game. I think Fatebringer is probably a better weapon. And again, that never dropped either. But I finally got the Vex drop. I even made a video about it because I was so excited. I'll continue to do the Vault of Glass on hard mode, trying to get the Fatebringer because I think that gun is so good. But eventually, it'll just get outclassed by the new weapons from the Crota's End hard mode. So probably once Crota's End hard mode comes out, it'll really reduce the reasons to do Vault of Glass, which I'd like to see them address. Like, are they going to do a very hard mode on Vault of Glass? Are they going to amp up the difficulty and the rewards? Because nobody's going to do it on like an even harder difficulty if you're still just getting 300 gear or 300 max attack weapons and level 30 gear. Like, there'd be no point. Your time would be better spent running Crota's End over and over again, as opposed to going into the Vault of Glass and just getting worse gear. Even the exotics you get out of Vault of Glass are still the lower level exotics from before the Dark Below came out, which is unfortunate because getting into the Vault of Glass, really the only people running it are people who are farming for Fatebringer or the Vex Mythoclast. You know, nobody cares about the armor, nobody cares about the shards, because all that stuff is essentially useless because it's not as good as the stuff you can get from vendors, and definitely not as good as the stuff you can get from the Crota's End raid. So, you know, I'd like to see the Vault of Glass stay relevant. I don't know if it will once we kind of move past all of the gear that you can get in there, especially the Fatebringer and the Vex Mythoclast. So, will they find a way to keep the Vault of Glass relevant? I really don't know. They've got to improve the gear that comes out of it if they improve the difficulty at all. So that is the gameplay that I had chosen for the beginning of this, where I just talk about the overall experience. Let's get to the gear. Last week, I really gave you an overview of all three of my characters. This week, I'm really going to focus on the Titan because that is where the bulk of my time is going into right now, is trying to get this Titan some raid gear. I also was trying to get him through the Crucible. He was the main source of my Crucible wins to get this guy, Aphrodite's Spear. So let's talk about armor first. You'll see the Glass House. I got this. I got a really lucky drop. It wasn't a drop. I bought a exotic engram from Zur this week, and it had the Glass House in it, which I was really psyched to find out because it's one of the new Dark Below exotics. However, the problem with it is it's very similar to the Helm of Saint 14 with a big difference: bathed in light. Blessing of Light and Weapons of Light last longer. Now, normally I use Weapons of Light, and having that last longer is great. But the Ward of Dawn bubble, I've gotten so used to using this Helm of Saint 14, which has this perk here. Your Ward of Dawn blinds enemies who enter it. And that is just so useful in PvE because anybody who comes in there to get you becomes basically, you know, useless. You don't even have to worry about them. So it's really a difference to me between being offensive with having a longer Weapons of Light or being defensive with the Starless Knight. And so far, I really chose defensive, but I think for Crota's End that I'm going to start leveling up the Glass House because I think it's going to be really useful to have longer Weapons of Light, especially against Crota, especially against the Ogres in the last fight. So I'm going to start upgrading this. As you can see, I haven't upgraded it at all. I haven't used it at all. But I think I'm going to start upgrading this and get this thing fully maxed out. And it looks cool, too. I think people are split on how it looks. I think it looks really cool. It looks different than any other helmet, which I like. Of course, so did Helm of Saint 14. So Let's put that guy back on. No other armor did I get this week that really affected me at all. Xur wasn't really selling anything that was that interesting to me, so I just kind of moved on. But as you can see, I finally got the Vex Mythoclast. I talked about that earlier, and I'm really psyched about it. I've been working on leveling it up. It's going kind of fast, kind of slow. You know, it depends on how you look at it. And I really like these 3 mid perks for it. I like how it really switches up the game. You can have extended mag, which is nice in PvE. Send it increases range and accuracy. That's where I've been going in PvP with it. I think the increased range really helps. And then lightweight, that really helps in the raid. This, you know, in the Crota's End raid. I think that's really nice. This one seemed like a no-brainer. I went with stability. This thing just, it performs so much better if you can get headshots with it, along with Zen Moment. I've almost got the thing, you know, it's getting up there for being fully upgraded. I'm really looking forward to getting it fully upgraded. You know, I'll just take care of that right now while I'm in here. And so I also got a really cool primary weapon. This came in a random drop, and I really like it. It's not as good as Shadow Price was. So Shadow Price was my first legendary, you know, right out of the gates. Once I hit level 20, I mean, it was my first legendary that I got as a drop, and I used Shadow Price for, you know, the entire time I had it. For the People is not quite as good. The difference is it has a lower impact and a higher rate of fire than Shadow Price. But when compared to all the auto rifles that came with the expansion that can have the ability to get up to 331, I'm really enjoying it. So I haven't fully upgraded it yet. I've only used it a little bit. You can see I haven't even unlocked the first perk yet, but I used it in the Iron Banner, and I was successful with it in the Iron Banner, unupgraded. So my hopes are high for this gun. You know, I would like to see something equivalent to the Shadow Price, but they just didn't put anything out there that was equivalent. And I think that has something to do with the way Bungie wants to kind of balance this game going forward. It could be that they just don't release guns that are overpowered. Instead of having to nerf stuff and, you know, adjust these things, they might have just kind of learned, okay, high impact, low rate of fire on auto rifles is overpowered, so we're not gonna release those anymore. If you want something like that, you're gonna have to start looking towards scout rifles. There is a rumored Queen's Bounty gun that has those stats, those high impact, low rate of fire stats. We'll have to see when the Queen comes around again if she's offering that for sale, or if it'll just be a random drop when you're doing the Queen's Bounty stuff. We'll have to see. But yeah, I do like this comparatively to the rest of the stuff that's out there from Crucible and from Vanguard vendors right now. I don't like it as much as Shadow Price, but Shadow Price is going to get left behind by the new damage models, you know, that higher 331 attack. So I like the perks that come with it too. High caliber rounds, lightweight, and single point sling. And then we got glass half full, which is a really nice perk. Bottom half of each magazine causes additional damage. That's a nice perk. So like I said, I don't have a ton of experience with it. Obviously, I did use it in the Iron Banner a little bit. I was successful with it in the Iron Banner. It's a nice little gun, not as good as Shadow Price, but there is no equivalent to Shadow Price available with the 331 damage model. All right, next up, Ephrodite's Spear. So this is why I spent so much time in the Iron Banner this week, and I actually re-rolled this. So this is not the kind of standard Ephrodite Spear. What I really wanted is, you see the magazine size is only 3. What I really wanted is get this Field Scout, and I kind of like the last gun. I can't really give you a full review on this yet because obviously I've used this so little. I just bought it today, and I've just used it. I used it for one strike and then started making this video. But what I like about the way it rolled on my second roll here is it's got surplus, which is going to be nice. Expect to find more ammo for this weapon. It's got Field Scout, which I also like. And it's got Mulligan. Missing a shot has a chance to return ammo directly to the magazine. Mulligan, I've never found to be that useful because the chances of this happening just seem so low. You can roll Firefly on this. I actually find Firefly to be a slightly annoying perk on sniper rifles. And here's why. Is when I'm shooting the Vex Hobgoblins, if there's 2 of them standing next to each other, and I shoot one of them, and the Firefly sets off, it'll put the shields up on the other one, which really drives me nuts because then I gotta wait for that shield to go down on the other one. So I actually re-rolled it to try and get Field Scout and to get rid of Firefly. Mulligan, I'm not super happy about, but I like everything else about this. I even like how it came up arc damage. I like arc damage sniper rifles. So I'm pretty excited about this. It is a very high impact gun. It does massive damage, but it's a very low rate of fire. It takes forever to, fire each shot. So we'll see how successful I am with it. It is, it's very early. It looks cool as hell though, so I'm pretty excited about it. I think that's it for specials. Oh, I also got Perun's Fire for competing in the Iron Banner. This was just a drop. Again, haven't used much of this at all. Rangefinder, that's going to be very good perk for this. What I liked about this when I picked it up was it's got a nice charge rate, it's got high impact, and it's got good range. The Rangefinder is going to help with that range. Hopefully I can find a perk here. There is no perk for range. Is there a perk here? There it is. Send it. Increases range and accuracy. My guess is this thing's going to be pretty badass in the Crucible. Does arc damage, has cascade, melee kills will increase the reload speed of this weapon for a short time. On a Titan, that'll be pretty good. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to be pretty good. Again, I just got it. I just haven't had enough time to give you guys a full review of it. But if you look at that impact, you look at that range, and you look at that charge rate, it seems like it ought to be damn good in the Crucible. All right, and our final item, I think, for the week is the Hunger of Crota. So I just got this from my last raid run, and this thing is a monster. Again, I haven't fully upgraded it yet, so I'm not going to give a review on anything that, especially if I don't have at least these perks here. But right off the gate, it's got tracking, which, I think a rocket launcher needs to be useful. It needs to have tracking. Especially if you're firing at like a boss from very far away. You definitely want your rockets to actually land on the target. So tracking is huge. But then it's got this cluster bomb. So it's similar to Hez's Vengeance in that way, where what it does is it hits, and then there's like basically a bunch of like kind of bombs hit the floor. So anything around where it hits also gets blown up, which is very useful. It's not like Yalahorn where you get these like wolf pack rounds so the initial missile hits, and then you get these wolf pack rounds that come around and hit them again. It's not like that. These are bombs that kind of land around the target, and anything around that target will then be hit. It's better for like a cluster of enemies than it is for a boss, which is really nice. It's also got heavy payload, increases the warhead's blast radius. That's going to be very useful, especially against hordes of enemies. And then the Hive Disruptor, increased damage to Hive Majors. That's exactly what you want out of the Hunger of Crota. So the thing looks badass. It's very fun to use. I can't wait to get it upgraded. And that's basically it for new gear. I have been trying to upgrade my Suros Regime. I think it's almost there. Yeah, I can spend an exotic shard on it now. But what I'm really looking forward to is getting some of the new exotics, some of those brand new Crota's End exotics. So that'll be really fun. It's been a really productive week. It was a really fun week with the Iron Banner and doing the raids. And I'm really psyched to be playing with Destiny. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.